are. But I mean, we've got to get back to that type of mindset. Otherwise, I mean, it's just going to be a free for all. It's like, hey, let's just get revenge and go hang everybody. Because they deserve it. They do deserve it. But
only be violence, right?
In the right way, in a just way. It can't just be let's go round them up. I mean, then who's the next one to get rounded up? Everybody gets rounded up at some point. So we're living through one of those.
It was just very eye-opening to me today, and usually I would not entertain. Don't get me wrong, I would not entertain a troll or somebody that's just vomiting ignorance or whatever, but this is a person that I've known for a few years. We had things in common, and he's very influential in his community, and I was like, okay, if I will humble myself and try to have a conversation and educate him,
he can teach others. He can teach others what he's learned.
Yeah, that was my hope.
Right.
And so I took a little bit more abuse than I probably should have.
That's okay sometimes, though. I mean, that's all right because it's for a greater good.
Yeah. But I'm not hurt from it. I know who I am. And exactly. I know that I care about the community enough that if you need to get your anger out, but you'll listen to me afterwards and you'll think for yourself afterwards. And I just asked him, I said, will you please go back through this and read this conversation and look how we treated each other. Yeah. And then please consider looking into that information on your own. And then I was like,
you might be pissed at me, but I still love you. Just saying.
Yeah. And that's okay.
Walking away now.
But I also am going to put up a boundary at some point and not allow you to continue.
Right. And that's it. You can't take, that's it,
Yeah. That's okay.
You can't beat your head against the wall and, keep doing it and doing it and doing it. At some point, it's like my thinking is next. All right. Somebody else wants to learn. You don't want to learn. I've tried. I can't waste my energy anymore. I'm going to the person that wants to learn. And that's where I'm going to spend my energy. But I'm willing to do it here.
There's also, your family loves, you're out there in the cornfield and it takes more than just the seed to make a plant grow.
Oh yeah, you can plant the seed, but it dries out. You don't water it. You put it in the wrong spot, not deep enough, too shallow, whatever. I mean, there's a lot of factors.
Right. So you never know when you're speaking to someone if you're the water for them or the sunlight or if you're the dirt.
You might get there a whole season, and then it goes over winter. The next year it comes up because the conditions were right. You know what I mean? And that can happen. And
sometimes that's almost there because then it's their experience of they discovered it.
I know.
And then they can have ownership of that. Because I never want somebody to think that although I do pretty much go, oh, whatever Cliff said. Mostly. I critically think for myself, but I do listen to him a lot. But I never want somebody to think, oh, well, just because Lisa told me. I hope that something I told you triggers a curiosity for you to go look yourself and learn.
Exactly.
Your own
inspires you to find it so that it resonates, because nothing's more powerful than when you have that spark. I mean, that's the thing. You can tell me, Lisa, you can tell me and say that, well, Westwood, you're wrong. I know you're wrong. And I'll be like, okay. And I won't accept it. Even if it's you saying it, I won't accept it until I go off by myself. And then I go and look at it and I figure it out. And then when I get that, I'm like, okay, yep, I was wrong. Okay, Lisa was right. Now I internalized it. I know it for myself because I've done my own research. It resonates with me. I understand it. Then I'll go back to Lisa, give her a big hug and say, yes, you were right. But I'm just an ass.
Well, I feel like more and more of this is coming. I feel today the dogs were
being dogs.
Being insane. No, they couldn't just be in the house and be at peace. The wind, it was really windy here today. Although we had 2 helicopter flybys, so hi to whoever's flying by. But the dogs just couldn't take it. They're, barking, running around, just couldn't be settled or peaceful.
It's a lunar eclipse thing. We're in that time frame. All the energies are and it's spring. But that's the thing. These seasonal changes are important too. I mean, when spring changes, and here we are, going into the more energy. You see it in everything going green and everything just growing, and those are different energies that affect you differently. And they're affecting animals differently. They affect us all differently, and so it's important that That's why they know the energy points, you know, and when to push things out when we're most receptive. I mean, because you know they know the game. Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you.
Get a drink, sir.
Thanks, Mitchie.
Oh, yeah. Gotta love it.
Yeah, it's just really interesting to kind of unpack all of it. But
No,
I did want to touch on the Julian Assange thing. I thought that was really important.
Thank you.
Because I had thought that was a big nothing burger. And then when Greg said, oh no, they like codified his First Amendment rights. So to me, that's his most powerful, that's his superpower, is his freedom of speech. So if we get some information coming out from Assange, that's huge. You know, he had in WikiLeaks the White House parties, hot dogs and
Hot dog parties, baby. Let's get what $68,000 worth of hot dogs from Chicago. Hey man, can we do a little dance, Obama? Hot dog party. Why are you flying in hot dogs from Chicago? I mean, I know they got great hot dogs and brats, whatever it is, but that's the absolute worst. Get it?
I got it.
Anyway,
It was bad, but I got it. Yeah.
yeah. I had all the deep dish pizzas. Well, it's thin crust cheese pizzas, I guess. I mean, and the thing is, though, it's like there's something more to it when you read the emails. It's like, it's not just a hot dog party. What's a hot dog party? Anybody out there says, hey, it's a sausage party. What's that mean? Everybody knows what it means, right? So when somebody says, a president says, oh yeah, we're flying a bunch of hot dogs, having a hot dog party.
And they said other things in the email that
didn't make
sense to make it sound like there were.
Like the context is when you read through it and it's like, okay, yeah, read between the lines. Yeah, we see what's going on here. But that's nothing new. Go back to what was it, the Franklin scandal out of Nebraska, wasn't that what it was? And then, you know, the Bush White House, I mean, or maybe it was the Reagan White House and Bush running stuff out of there. I mean, there's always been this undercurrent of depravity, you know, that's gone on, you know, in the power circles. It goes back to Rome and Greece. I mean, it's nothing new. I mean, it's just, but it goes on. That's what they do. They're just a bunch of deviants that want power, and I mean, that's why they're in power, because they crave it. Mm-hmm. You know, and they do odd things, I guess you could say. Just ask P. Diddy.
Well, he's not the only one. That's the other thing that more of this is exposing, you know.
Right. That's just another.
I guess 50 Cent is like
calling out
Oprah stuff or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then somebody was talking about Taylor Swift the other day, hanging out with all those people.
Anybody who has become a billionaire in the music industry, I have to be suspect of. I just have to, because it's a controlled system. So you got to think, are they going to let you rise to power if you don't play ball? I mean, that's my first thought. Are you going to get to be able to be president or Speaker of the House or, you know, Senate, whatever, you know, leader, if you don't, like, you know, do something or you're compromised, basically, so that they can take you out when they want to.
And music is so powerful because it's like teaching people.
Hollywood, music, same thing. But yeah, at a level that you don't understand, that vibrates and resonates with you, it hits you. It's like subliminal messaging that gets you. You know, it's like people work out and they're like, they listen to certain music, like, yeah, put some, yeah. You know, that's what they do. They listen to that kind of music. You know, whereas if you're listening to Beethoven, or, you know, or Mozart, and you get into that different, you know, beautiful music and mindset, it puts you in a whole different mind. You know, your body reacts differently, and you can study it scientifically. The plants react differently. But if you're listening to AC/DC or Metallica, I mean, the plants don't. They're going to, you know, they're going to grow better. I don't know, you know, and it just puts you in a different frame of mind. You know, if you're a soldier going off and, you know, it's like, all right, you know, I'm going to go out and get out of the helicopter and blast some people. It's like, what kind of music are you going to listen to? You going to listen to Tchaikovsky? Probably not. Probably not.
So speaking of frequency, I found this article about the every 200 years, there's an event where Brood X and Brood XII or something like that. So one of them's on a 13-year cycle. One of them's on a 17-year cycle.
Are you talking cicadas?
Yeah, there's cicadas every year. Yeah. There's annual cicadas that come up every year. But then there's these two other types, and one's on a 13-year cycle, one's on a 17-year cycle. And right now is the 10th time in 2,000 years. I think that's right. Yeah. That
Where it comes together in an X.
comes
They cross, they intersect.
and in about the same place as that as well. So, but at a different time, because they're saying they're not going to really start hatching till like May. So if the eclipse,
It's usually got to get pretty warm for these things. I mean, usually around here, the annual ones, it's July. It's got to get hot. Now, I don't know about the 17-year ones. I remember
it's like May through June.
Okay. So it's going to be like in waves.
Mid-May through the end of June.
Okay.
And of course, maybe it'll go up, as the temperature goes up or whatever. But it made me think of frequency. They put off this noise.
Oh, yeah.
And so...
And you'll hear it in the summer when I'm doing this live show. When I got the door open, you'll hear the cicadas in the background.
And that's only the annual ones. So what would it do if all of these broods happen at once and it's a 200-year event and it changes the frequency?
Well, what I would do is go look at when it's happened in history and mark those years and see if there were any significant occurrences that happened during those times.
There were 17 states in the United States.
Okay.
It was, gosh, I read a thing about it. I should have had this pulled up.
Yeah, so that's what I would look at. What happened at the last time, and then overlay that and see if there's any commonalities.
Yeah, it's like 200 years ago. So if you look at that, I don't have it pulled up anymore.
You ever look at a cicada? It looks like a little mechanical war beast. I mean, when you get real close to them, they have the red eyes, and then they're just like
that's
little.
The other thing. So Canon's video game right now has all this weird stuff that's like parallel with what's going on in the world. But the what's it called? The Chrome girl, I can't remember what her name is coming back with like this all chrome outfit, and she has Amber Bug.
This is in the game?
Yeah, in the game.
Okay, the Chrome girl.
She's got like, or like the scarab thing. Mm-hmm. Oh gosh, now I'm having mummy things because of that poor man's nose and his illness. So she has like bugs in amber on her, and they're not moths. They look like cicadas.
Okay.
And she's going to be released, and she's like in mostly silver or white or whatever. And but then it made me think of the Egyptian. Like, have you ever seen where they find like, or in my sister brought me back some amber from Poland when she was working all over the world, and then there's some that have. We
brought Amber to a couple of meetups too.
I brought my friend Amber.
Oh, that Amber. Okay. Yeah.
That's a different Amber. Okay, but I don't know. This whole bug thing, it's weird for there to be bugs in this thing. Anyway. All the gold.
That's, you think back to your Jurassic Park. That's what, when you're talking about amber, bugs and amber, they had these little dinosaurs captured in amber, and that's how they extracted the DNA so that they could, create these new recreate dinosaurs based on the DNA, because it was trapped in amber and perfectly preserved. And I don't know.
You don't say.
What I was thinking.
Mm-hmm. So I got Jurassic Park comms today as well.
Oh, did you? Yeah. Oh, I didn't know. I just with you, yeah. And
there was a band or something.
We're gonna hear some frogs when the eclipse comes, because it all goes dark, and then the crickets and frogs and everything starts going. It's weird. So weird.
Really?
Oh yeah, I remember like 2017.
Huh? Isn't it only 4 minutes long?
Well, I mean, it's like, the totality, I guess, would be, but it's like a 3-hour period to where it starts. And then you watch it go over, and then there's around here, I think it's like 2:00 is when it peaks, when it's fully covered, and it's really weird. Temperature drops. It's the frogs start croaking. I mean, everything. It's just an eerie darkness, but it's not dark. You know what I mean? Like night, but it's just a strange, and everything gets triggered.
Like the most recent eclipse, it was partial. but
Uh-huh.
it was like we were at a estate sale or something outside, and it was like it looked like the leaves were dancing, because when you look on the ground, it's kind of moving back and forth because you're seeing parts of shadows or multiples of shadows.
Okay, I got you. Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Huh.
and so, yeah, it was really interesting.
It is odd, and I can imagine, if you didn't have any technology, and then you go back 1,000 years, say 2,000 years, and this kind of thing happens. I mean, well, you don't know what's happening. I mean, when the priest tells you this is what it means, you probably believe him, because it's just, this is so out of the ordinary, and everything changes with that eerie feeling, and
yeah.
What's this mean? I'll tell you what it means. Follow my orders.
It means Litecoin's up 17%.
Whoa! You've been warned. You've been warned multiple times.
You've been warned.
What was it? Coinbase came out before we went on, and actually the futures are live now, or it's approved, or whatever it is. The futures derivatives, whatever the frick they're doing on Coinbase with Litecoin, so it pumps the price because everybody gambled big time with it. Now all the big money gets to come in and play with it.
Wait, so they did like
it's live
derivative Litecoin thing?
I think so. Hang on, I just saw something and then I was looking at it on Twitter, and it said you've been locked out of your account. Yes, it did. I showed Mitch. It said my account got locked as soon as I looked at the Coinbase thing. Yeah, and so I had to redo something to prove I'm a human. I don't know. Yeah, whatever.
Let them scan your face. Let them look into your DNA.
Look into my eyes. What do you see? Mm-hmm. See a bunch of whiskey, gin floating. But yeah, I think that's live, and so I don't even know what the price of Litecoin is today, right now.
Hold on.
I can look. I'm gonna look right now.
Little Coin.
I'll search it up.
Since CoinGecko listened to our request to remove the fake warning,
$109. I'll tell you what, that's a big number, because once it goes over 105, if it closes like right now for the week in the month at like $109, I think that's over the 200-day moving average. I mean, that's big signals. I mean, that's probably your rocket signal right there. And then so everything, I thought it'd be May 1st, but you got to think the 3-month candle closes on Sunday. I mean, yeah, this could be the Litecoin moonshot. I mean, this could be it. Here I am. Like, it's probably.
The other thing is, remember what day is
$1,000 Litecoin this year. Whatever.
The last day of the year.
Right.
Is really the 8th, though, right?
Yeah, if you look at that calendar. So April 8th, look out, new year for Litecoin. Here it is. All the karma is going to be corrected, and sound money for the digital age will finally take its place on the throne. And Litecoin goes 0 plus another 0 next year.
Well, and
I'll finally be redeemed.
The other show I watch is Tom Numbers, because I love all the gematria stuff, and he'll have 107 on there. And 107 was talking about having the he was also talking about, wasn't he, the commodities and the currency, or was that just Andy? I think 107 was talking about it too. He was talking a lot of biblical stuff today, but then he was also talking about maybe it was more the calendar.
Can you see the Litecoin? Mm-hmm. Do you see the Litecoin? I'm playing with it at this point because it's a foregone conclusion. I mean, we're at that point where it's just it's going to go, just because of other factors. Yeah. Buckle up.
Mark Moderman says that's what everyone says about every coin out there.
Yeah, but this is a long time in coming, and it's for a reason.
It's really different with Litecoin.
It really is. I mean, it's been in its place for a long time. It's been, I don't want to say suppressed, but it's a different. It's like silver. I mean, it really is. I mean, and when it goes, it goes. It's a hallmark of things finally changing and people waking up, I think, because it will be an awakening to legitimately sound digital money. And I think you'll see silver do the same thing, just because faith is lost in the dark system. Let's just call it that. And those two coins happen to have whatever frequency, whatever energy in my mind that vanquish that darkness and give people freedom, allow people to use their energy how they want to use it and have control over it. And so
So
we'll see.
Fever Flav brings up a good comment, because America has been very protected and has not had this experience. But I have friends who grew up in Brazil. Well, several friends who grew up in Brazil and other countries where they have had currency collapse. And so they've lived through it even multiple times, depending on where they've grown up. And so he's talking about Soviet Russia collapsing. There was physical currency change every 2 months. It was hell for the citizens.
They're used to collapses and people devaluing the currency. I mean, it's just that we had a military. I mean, and that's the thing. We were in a position in history where we, could defend the dollar at all costs and make it the standard and enforce the standard. And everybody had to use it, and it made it the most liquid currency in the world. And so it's artificially allowed to exist, and it's done a lot of damage around the world, and it's starting to unwind itself. So, I wouldn't want to be putting all my assets and my energy into that, thinking that's going to get me to a stage of retirement where I can be happy. I would definitely look into other assets, things that you can control and hold in your own possession going forward. That's just my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm doing. Dogs, whiskey, cigars, a little bit of gasoline,
whatever,
matches.
What do you need to get by?
Right.
Sure. And that goes back to what you tell people all the time: make sure you're exchanging hard assets for hard assets.
Mm-hmm.
When you get to
that's it. I mean, any coin can go up. Anything like chocolate, skyrocketed this year on the futures or whatever, on the exchanges. Chocolate was some ridiculous amount of money per ton. And it's like, but if I've got my raw cacao beans, and I get it, don't be going and talking about, they sit out by the road and they ingest all the fumes, that go by in these third world countries and all this stuff. I get it. But, if you've got your raw cacao beans, which basis of chocolate in the house, and I've got those, and, I got plenty of them, then, I really don't care. I don't need the milk chocolate, and I'm not going to worry about the end price of, Reese's peanut butter cups going up. And, it's just whatever. I got the source. I got what I need here. So get what you need. Get it while you can before, the dollar just completely goes ridiculous and you can't buy the stuff anymore, and they destroy all the supply chains, and whatever happens, who knows what's going to happen. But, get the assets in your possession. Hey, if you need energy, and you get these solar panels finally activated and they work and take care of that situation and, give you energy, then maybe you should do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right?
There was a huge hailstorm.
At some point, it doesn't matter what it costs. It's the fact you have it. You'd be like, it doesn't matter.
Hailstorm in Texas that destroyed like acres and acres of those solar things.
That can happen too.
Everybody's crying because of the silica that's leaching into the soil. Silica, think about it. The natural.
Isn't that like sand?
Yeah. Hello?
I got a desert in my backyard.
Okay. And so
scraping up silver.
Yeah, and Bix was talking about, you could take one Bitcoin now could buy 5 monster boxes of silver, and if you listen to that,
that's a no-brainer. I mean, hey.
Yeah, and listen to
could Bitcoin go $1 million? Yes. Could silver maybe at $30 at the same time? Probably not likely, but yes. But the thing is, if you can take one Bitcoin and get like 5 monster boxes of silver, to me, it's a no-brainer.
You can take a volatile asset and put it in and that may be where Litecoin and silver have been undervalued, is that they're not as volatile as some of these other things. Yeah. If you can take a volatile asset at the top and buy a less volatile asset, undervalued asset that is less volatile, that's a sense of security, especially if you can hold it in your own possession. So if you think about it that way, then make good choices, boys and girls.
Somebody go out and do, and I said this, somebody go out and do the ratio of an acre of farmland to how many silver coins, over history, over time, what that is. I'm curious. And I think, like I said before, I think the University of Iowa might have done that study to where historically, an acre of farmland, because an acre of farmland produces, so much food. Yeah, you can produce more with bigger machines and all that stuff. But, I'm just, you have that example throughout history. Everybody says, well, with a gold coin, I can buy a really nice suit. You can do that, throughout history. And that's true. You buy, certain things, items that are going to go up and cost more money because of the cost of production. And, gold, the instance has always been that, 1 ounce of gold buys you a great suit, really nice suit. And, it still does. And so I'm curious, looking at ratios of silver to real items from the past, like, for instance, what's 1 acre of farmland? What's like the range where how many ounces of silver would pay for an acre of farmland? You know what I mean? And when we get to that point, because I like playing ratios, I like looking at ratios like you're talking, Lisa. When this is up here and this is way down here, I want to take this up here and put it into this, because I don't make enough money to just like go buy everything I want. I drive a freaking digibug. You know what I mean? I can't go out and buy stuff like that. I got I got a daughter in college. Roll Tide in the Elite Eight, baby. Anyway, I had to throw that out there.
You have a lot of
I'm paying for it. So
women in your life that that you are very good to. So
yeah, so I mean, look at the ratios and how you can benefit and gain to where, hey, I've got this, it's worth a lot now, and this is like just as good, maybe better. Maybe I should take this and put it into this and get a lot of this that I wouldn't have been able to get in the past. So I mean, look at those ratios and everything. Assets to assets. That's where you have to look at it.
Hard assets to hard assets, where you can hold it in your pocket.
Dollar's not an asset.
It's really going to matter
Just
going
saying.
forward. I watched a ninja video as well. I went for a walk today, so I was listening to a lot of videos. And Ninja was saying that 5 more banks were on the S&P as like warning to fail. And the significance of that in conjunction with all the stuff happening on silver, the bridge going out, the failure to deliver, like all of that is kind of the perfect storm right now. Not to mention the Evergreen or is it Evergrande, and the situation in China where they're not bailing out the commercial property owners, and they're going to, all those bonds are coming back, all the stuff that Jim Willie was telling us about and predicting months ago. So,
well, like I keep saying, you've been warned. Get into sound assets, because there will be a time when you think you have time to do it. It's very easy to be complacent and have the normalcy bias of, well, everything's doing well, the stock market's doing great, my NVIDIA stock keeps going up, la 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 la. But the thing is, yes, that represents an underlying asset, that represents some sort of production, some sort of productive capacity, but that's all it is a representation of it. Do you really have ownership of that just because you think you have a share of it? Do you really own those Caterpillar tractors because you own some Caterpillar stock? And when it really comes down to it, that can be easily, through some act of Congress or some dictate that's like, well, you can't do this or that anymore. Are you liquid? Can you take it? Can you take it out? Just like a pension sitting there. Can you do something with it? Or do you have to jump through a bunch of hoops and take a bunch of penalties to get that money? And then at that point, you just have money that they're inflating away. And if you don't get to it fast enough, it inflates in like 1 week and it's gone.
Yeah. During the Great Infection, there was an opportunity for people to pull out or take their, I think it was 401ks.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it was
without penalty or something. There was a benefit.
Without penalty, because we were in emergency. And there's been a lot of states recently that have reissued an emergency because of this eclipse. I wonder, you guys might want to look into it yourself.
Maybe that's a loophole.
That may be some loophole that you can exit your pension or 401k or whatever without having to pay taxes.
Right.
I think it's only up to a certain point. I don't think it's all of it, but you might look into that. This is no financial advice. I'm just a mom that homeschools her child and
ideas.
Yeah.
And
I love America, the people, we the people, not the government. So, anyway.
Right. Get some. Go out and buy okay, so you don't have a lot of money. What do? All right. Always a good option would be there's a lot of places out there where you can go get a can of heirloom seeds that's sealed up. They're going to last you 5 years minimum. And they cost you like $30. And it's like, a bunch of seeds that you can grow and grow your own food, at some point. I mean, that just having that on hand is a sense of security, because if it gets really bad, you might think, I might want to get some of these seeds, and then it's too late. Well, because during the Great Infection, pandemic thing, you couldn't get any freaking heirloom seeds. Well, supply chain this, supply chain that. Well, it's back, excuse me, where it's cheap enough that you can go get a can of those things, survival seeds, whatever they call them, it's seeds in a can, it's got all the 20 different varieties, in little packets that are sealed up, I mean, just get those and have them just in case. It's a great insurance policy that if you ever are in a situation to where you need to, I need a victory garden, let's go out and start growing some seeds. Well, I got to go get them from Monsanto or Bayer, whatever. No, that's not a good idea. You want to get heirloom seeds that, and what that means is at the end of the year, when you plant a tomato seed, little tiny seed, very fragile. You plant it, grows this huge freaking tomatoes everywhere, falling all over the place, rotten. You can't eat them all, But you take one of them and you just take all the seeds out, and you can have hundreds, thousands of seeds off one plant that you can save. And then look, now you don't have to go buy seeds anymore. You got them for next year. And so then, share them with people, and, and just, so that everybody's independent. And that's the best way for me, my personal, just be independent with your food, because they're going to control you with the food. That's what happens in the Great Depression. You don't have food. You got to wait in line for the food. So you're a slave, and you're going to do whatever they tell you to do. Don't be in that position to where you can't feed your family. You don't have an option. And that may be a barterable thing. You know what I mean? That may be something that's like, hey.
Listen to this. Seeds in Denver are $30 a piece for a seed.
Oh, come on. For what? What kind of seed is it?
Great Gazoo is saying. That's insane. Okay, so do you have any knowledge of this, or I need to have Mom on to do a little education of growing things, maybe?
Right. We might need to do a little crash course on doing a little victory garden.
That would be fun.
What kind of seed are we buying here?
Maybe I'll have your mom and my mom join us.
Well, if we're talking about a magic beanstalk, maybe it is $30.
I don't know, but so Harley's dad is asking. He says they're sealed and in the freezer. Not sure they will still sprout.
Well, they probably will, because if you think about it,
it's like
just knowing my experience. I mean, you'll have something that you plant, in the backyard here, and then you harvest everything, or you just let it rot off the vine because it's no good, whatever it is. Well, the next year they'll come up, and they've been frozen in the winter, sitting out there going through all the abuse, the wind, and all the craziness, and then they'll still sprout up. And so, I think they'll be fine in the freezer, to an extent. I mean, if you got enough of them, you'll get some that work. But I mean, these things sit out there and they still sprout, after going through all the harsh winters, just on the ground or barely under the soil.
So, okay. So Mom and I were at and Charlie was there too. We're at a little antique mall, and they were selling plants.
Okay.
And I was like, that's odd, but okay, that's cool. And then
I saw that today, in fact.
Did you?
Because I was out antiquing.
Oh, awesome.
Oh, I got you something.
I
got you a little something.
So then Charlie and I went to this lady's house here in town, and she's got a big sunroom, and she has these monstera plants. They're like, have palm leaves like this big, and
Jurassic style.
Different versions and whatever. And she said, oh yeah, it's a whole thing where like stores have like set up security cameras. They even have people watching their plants, because people will walk by, and instead of paying for the expensive plant, they take a cutting and steal.
Oh yeah.
And now Skullcap Savant is saying seed scams at Home Depot, the most common stealing technique at self-checkout is to place all the seeds under items or in tools that you need. They're so expensive. This is rampant.
Wow.
What is happening?
I mean, and see,
run on seeds.
That's what's good. Seriously, and that's the thing, though. Here's my biggest thing with this. They want to create a world of artificial scarcity to where you think you don't have abundance, and that's why I'm telling you right now, it is a world of abundance. Mitch, you planted your garden a couple years ago. How many freaking tomatoes did you have? You couldn't do anything with them. You're like, oh.
Give them away.
And the seeds that are in each tomato. Think about that. And then you go to the store and you pay $2-3 for an heirloom pack of 15 seeds. I mean, one tomato, and you've got and then if you all those tomatoes, I mean, see, that's abundance there. If you save those and give those away. We're going to go to meetups, Lisa, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to set people up with Litecoin wallets, send them a little Litecoin, and I'm going to say, here's a pack of heirloom seeds, too.
That's right.
Johnny Appleseed. gonna be
I
Clint
think that's great.
something seed.
No, I think
What
all
was it?
of that
Clint
is-
cantaloupe seed or something. I don't know.
well, and like, we're in Oklahoma, but we can grow banana trees. They just store in the winter dry in your garage.
No, I'm
People know
envious
that stuff.
because
Education, knowledge is the
banana tree.
greatest thing to hodl right now.
It
Buy
is.
the books that
Yes.
teach you this
Buy
stuff.
them for nothing, 50 cents,
And
$1
learn.
at thrift stores, and get all that knowledge and save it up.
Yeah.
Avocado trees.
Yeah,
That's
well,
the
I've
biggest
looked into it.
thing
It ain't
I
gonna
just
grow here.
have that in my mind that you went antiquing without me and I don't get to see it.
Oh, I went to that. I took my wife. Well, they took me because
Let's be honest.
Let's
They
be
took
honest.
me.
I didn't drive. I was in the passenger seat because I get out around people and I get anxiety. So it's I can't drive. I can't do this. So anyway, I went out. We went out and we could take the little one out and get her out and do some things. And so we went to the mall. My aunt's got a shop there. My wife kind of makes tidies it up for her.
Oh,
Anyway.
that's fun.
Yeah, so we went to a few of the little craft malls and little shops and all these little places, and then I actually found this for you and picked this up. But they did have little plants, little aloe plants growing and cactus plants growing in the window. And
Plant thing is
but when
neat.
I got you a pair of socks. Yeah, I don't know, it's kind of crazy.
Oh, he's so cute. I love him. I can't wait to wear him and be called a racist.
Yeah, I know, right? You can walk around, with some shorts on and flip flops and your Trump socks around the
I
neighborhood.
love him. Thank you for thinking of me.
Pretty funny, yeah. So anyway.
Thank you.
Oh, and then I had to do this because there's all this talk about the Stanleys. The girls have to have Stanleys. Remember Christmas time? They had those Stanley cups and all this. So finally, I caved in. I caved in and I got one.
Do not lick the outside because it has lead.
No, I got my Stanley.
Oh,
Look at it. Look at that. It's got some rust on it. It's beat up. I got my Stanley. Finally got one. I'm so proud of myself. I got a Stanley.
So Westwood style.
Look, that's me right there. I got my Stanley.
You and I can drink out of those one time because I have.
Look at it. It's all just pitted.
Mine is a much better job.
Treasure. Well, yeah, that's all right. Got my Stanley.
I love it. And I did notice when we were in Tulsa, I was like, oh, that's Stanley. Like, that's what that brand that everybody's talking about.
Yeah.
But maybe they're bringing old made in America brands, making them great again.
It's got all this writing on it. What's it got? It tells you what to do, what not to do. Don't do this. Don't do that. USA, baby. Nashville, Tennessee.
Don't lick the outside.
Nashville. I think there's a summit in Nashville coming up in July. Yeah, it's number 13B Stopper, it's called. And what RH94 handle? I don't know. Old school. That's me. Right there. I got my Stanley.
So I have that one in green, and then I have the red tartan plaid one with the matching picnic bag on the store.
Of course.
So
bougie girl.
Yeah. I might drink out of the red one next
I need
Friday.
a bourbon to catch up with Clint. Yeah, warrior.
Papa Pond says, I have 2 Stanleys in my basement. Why are you not selling those? He's like, no, because that's the good stuff. I'm going to keep it for myself.
Yeah, it's like, no. No, Lisa just says, let me into the basement.
Please. I cannot get up to the basement fast enough.
Let me go into the basement. Let me look.
Let me look and touch all the pretty things. I'm like, I don't know. I haven't been to a sale probably in almost a week. But I don't know did you see my sleepy clown that I got?
Sleepy clown?
So this clown I got. Hold on, I have to be very careful with it. It's worth like $225. They're selling, the last one sold for $225 and $200.
It's like a Dali clown.
Yeah, I got this in Stillwater
ran near the bridge.
College. It's huge. It's a McCoy cookie jar. The color on it is like real McCoy. Yeah,
it's a real McCoy.
That's what it is. And the color on it's amazing. Like there's no chips or anything on the lid. Like it's in amazing shape. And this guy asked $30 for it.
Charlie, pay the man.
The paint is perfect. I didn't even counter him. I was just like,
you're like, nope, buy it.
Yes, sir. What time can I be there? And he's like, thank you for driving all the way up here. I was like, oh, no problem.
No problem. as it's floored.
Yeah, this is great.
I'll
I love it. I love it. I love it. Anyway,
tell you what, that'd make a good hood ornament on the Digibug.
no, it's porcelain. It's ceramic.
But I don't drive the Digibug much, so
It
it'd be
does
fine.
look like Biden, Charlie G. I completely thought the same
You
thing.
put it on the roof of the Digibug. How nice would that look? Like right there on top with the clown head.
You might have to like create a like acrylic box around it to keep it safe
Yeah.
from something
Well,
hitting.
I know somebody that can do like what is that stuff that you did with my daughter? What's the epoxy it? And epoxy it down.
I don't know. Would
Yeah,
that protect it? I don't know.
I don't know. I'm talking
could
smack.
try
I'm
it.
in a
I don't know.
bar drinking.
It's kind of expensive, so I don't know. You want to be careful.
It's worth more than the car, so take care of it, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, it's not worth more than the car. You guys, Tom's mentioning the story that we started early on in the video, talking about. So Tom's one of our like hardcore fam. Has been with the group for a long time and really supports Team Mighty.
Yeah. Ice cream. Freeze-dried ice cream.
Yeah.
That he can.
Freeze-dried ice cream. Yeah, the clown car.
The clown. Do what?
Oh, that's
Anyway,
side
if
note.
you're able to help with his son's brother-in-law's,
Mute myself.
check out the link in the description, or not in the description. It's in the comments. Tom put it in the comments to help their family financially right now. It's heartbreaking, and I think we're going to see more and more and more of that, unfortunately. So those of us or those of you that are in a position to give, and those of you that this next bull run blesses or this next silver run blesses, I think there will be a lot of need and suffering in the world, unfortunately. And it may be a time to help others. So make sure you have all your assets in your possession, and then you're positioned to be able to help the people that you can and want to help.
Yes, ultimately, because that's what it comes down to. Hey, the income tax is going to erase poverty, right? And every tax that gets increased is going to fix everything, right? No, it doesn't.
No,
So it comes down to us.
money to another country.
Yeah, exactly. It comes down to us. And, when you make it, when you get wealthy, when you do well, because, you got lucky getting into
Worked
crypto
hard.
and holding Litecoin for 7-8 years. When you get lucky, then, and it does well and it has more purchasing power, use that to do better and leave things better than you found it. I mean, don't be me preaching. It's my philosophy. Put better energy out there because you got more energy to put out there. You've got, do something good with it, because it validates, you'll feel better. I mean, you just will by doing better things with it rather than, oh my gosh, I want to do this for me, this and that, and it's just like, put it back into the universe and more will come back to you. More will benefit you, if maybe not at a physical level, but at a spiritual level. I mean, just as a lifestyle level and it's just do better, and help people that need to be helped, lift them up. I mean, and that's,
and if we remember that we believe that this monetary system has enslaved all of us, then
it has robbed us
on its head and let's free people.
Do the opposite.
Yeah, and do the opposite. And I just had a thought.
Speaking of which, when is the meetup in Oklahoma? Do something good. What can we do now?
We are going to be doing the meetup in Oklahoma. So we'll have we'll have the Team Mighty event, which you can get tickets for. The links in the description. It's only $50 this month or this year. I tried to keep the price low. I got a great location that they didn't charge me a lot for the location. And we're going to have some amazing people there. We're celebrating and raising funds for this sweet boy, Mighty Miller, who is home now, but in the on the journey of fighting cancer and in treatment. And they're having to keep 2 homes, one in Tennessee and one here in Oklahoma. And his mom's just been a blessing to me and a lot of children in Oklahoma. She's worked for the Oklahoma Institute of Child Advocacy, and she used to volunteer for me every year helping with the kids with graduation and with Christmas. And so seeing her family suffer and struggle, just already worrying about your son's health. You don't need to be worrying about, can I pay the bills this month?
Right.
You know, you don't need that added burden. So if we can help them out for a little while at a time, then that's great. We'll also be celebrating, this is Share Bear, which is Cannon and Mia's, she was like their nanny, or she just helped me get through a really hard time when I was a single mom. And she was a huge blessing to us. She helped Cannon learn how to eat again after being tube fed for 3 years when he was a baby. She loved food and people and kids, and she just passed away from cancer. And so we want to honor her life and tell her story and share all the love that she has for people, and be able to help out this family and help out Mighty Miller in his fight. So you can join us, or you can buy a ticket. You can donate a ticket. You can donate an item. But you can be a part of it. We'd love to have you guys here. And then, so that'll be on Saturday, April 20th. And then on the 19th, we're going to do a open to the public, free happy hour live streaming here in my town at this great place that's over by the railroad track in the downtown.
I hope it's on the wrong side of the tracks, because that's the side I like to be on.
It's on the right side of the track.
Oh,
but
all right.
But it's downtown.
Be all right.
There's great little shops down there. There's it's the place where the bar restaurant is a like a food court thing. So there's like multiple options of food things. I'm hoping they have some outdoor music. They don't have that confirmed yet for that weekend, but they said they might by the time that hits.
Well, the thing is, Lisa's a wonderful singer, and you know what? We can, you know, maybe I can put something together. I guess I might be able to make it. You know, as your partner for happy hour, I'm going to do my best.
I need you there.
She needs me there.
Yeah, I need you there.
Well, it's a good thing, you know, because I will be there one way or the other. If I got to fly, I'll be there. If I got to drive, I'll be there. I'll be there. And I may have a sidekick. You never know.
Yeah, that would be fun. I would love for you to bring a sidekick.
Might be a big sidekick, might be a little sidekick.
I
don't
love
know.
all your sidekicks.
We're going to see.
That would be fun. That would be a lot of fun. And I think
Might be kicking both of them.
do what?
I might be kicking both of them.
Oh, well, there you go.
Kicks.
That might be good. No,
I'll be clicking my heels. There's no place like home.
it's not. That was in Dallas where Dave was had all those girls swarming him.
Well, that wasn't a sidekick. That was like a harem.
Yeah, that was
a pimp daddy.
Place in Dallas. That's not Oklahoma City.
No.
This is in my town, like my town in Oklahoma. So not
Pretty
even
much.
a big.
And they're like, oh,
the big one, yeah.
Right.
I am. So this is my other thing. I am not encouraging people to fly. I'm not flying. Things are concerning. I'm sorry to bring it up, Westwood. Maybe you should drive with your friend.
Timing is everything.
yeah, it's all out.
I don't know.
I won't be listening to any Alanis Morissette on the way. You know what that means.
Well, I'm just saying, I think it'll be a great time, and I hope everybody that can make it will, and if not,
I
think we'll be
trying to
I need to. I need to take that trip to eastern, southeast Oklahoma, wherever it is that you were at one point, living, and
you
check
need to
out
come
the
to
best
Nana's, and then we'll drive over there because it's not far from Nana's.
No, we'll figure it out. The thing is, one way or another, I'll be there.
Sounds good.
If I got to start walking, I'll be there. It truly will be, and this is inappropriate, a trail of tears for me.
Yeah, Mark Williams. Well, you could, because he has to even fly here, I think. I was like, you could drive here, and then because we drive to Westwoods.
Well, I'm not taking a barge. I know that. Say that.
It's very true.
Yeah. No, but get there, and that's the thing. These are things that you can do. There, you've got two people, or two causes that we've talked about tonight that you can help. I mean, you know, they run the big commercials on the TV and make you feel bad for all these things. You know, you see the pets and the dogs and all that stuff. I mean, and then, you know, the United Way or this organization, that organization, you know, they're advertising and doing all this and spending all this money, and their CEOs are flying on big jets and that they own. I mean, this is something that you can, if you want to help somebody, you know, this is how you can do it so that the money actually gets to the person rather than, you know, some political organization,
Yeah.
because that's basically what
And
those
I
things
will
are.
have a crypto wallet so you guys can see if you donate to.
And then Litecoin's $500 in a month. You know, you'll say, oh, you know, I'll break off a little Litecoin. Cool.
Yeah. So we'll get all of that set up. I'm not going to announce all of that until like after the first of the year, which is coming quickly. So I got to get myself in order.
I've been trying to do that my whole life, girl.
Get all the help. Yeah.
I gotta get myself in order.
Did we miss any big news items? I don't think so.
I forgot to bring in my list, you know, and Mitch says, why are you upset? What happened? I said, I forgot my notes. I don't even have any freaking notes. So, you know, I forgot everything. What went on. We had Sam Bankman fried, 25 years in jail.
25 years.
But Caroline and her dad, no issues there, you know, with
I
Alameda.
didn't hear anything about them or anyone else being sentenced or.
You know, he's like the Lee Harvey Oswald of crypto.
I have a question about that though. Now
Yeah.
that he's sentenced,
Yeah.
does that put him in a position to talk?
Maybe it does.
Unless he ends up like
Yeah, unless he's Epstein.
jail cell.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say. You know, who knows? You know, I don't know. I don't know what happens there. I mean, but the thing is, and I talked about it last night a little bit, and I thought about it because I didn't really say it correctly. But every crypto cycle, there has been a confiscation of your energy. Mt. Gox early on, and then in 2017 you had BitConnect. You know, that was one, you know, scheme that was out there to steal your crypto. There were others, Ethereum. Let's not mention that, I guess. But then they're still stealing your energy. But you've got all the things that happened in the last cycle.
Learn more about Ethereum.
Yeah, and you had BlockFi, you had FTX, you had Celsius, you had all these exchanges, these honeypots, where you put it in there and get paid for letting us have your crypto, hold your crypto for you. And it's the same thing to me over again in this cycle, to where they're confiscating your crypto again. They get you, entice you to volunteer to give your energy and say, yes, I want Bitcoin. Oh, you're going to hold it for me? Very awesome. Thank you very much. Let's put it in this ETF. And so that's what's happening now. And so, I mean, don't give it to them, because something's going to happen and you're not going to get it back. I mean, because there's only so much of it to go around and they want it. So don't give it to them. I mean, it's fine if it drives the price up, whatever. It drives the price up in dollar terms. But the thing is, don't put it in that casino. You can hold it in your possession. You know, do that. And then, you know, if you got more purchasing power because of whatever system rolls out, if Litecoin's now got whatever, an ETF or derivatives or, you know, whatever Coinbase is doing, futures, and the price goes up, don't be putting it in Coinbase. Don't be putting it in these exchanges. Don't let them hold it. You hold it, and then when you want to do something with it because the purchasing power has gone up, then you can do something with it and go do something with it. But don't be in a situation to where you're asking for permission for, you know, your energy that you put into something that you know is a great asset, and now you can't access that asset because somebody else has control over it. No, you control it. Trust yourself enough to control it, or figure out how to control it, because they're going to just make it easy for you. And if it's easy, it's not going to be good.
And then be watching those assets that you desire for when there's blood in the streets and you can go purchase them.
Exactly. You know, you need more clown heads?
Control.
I can get 10 clown heads.
Yes.
You need more rabbits? You go get more rabbits.
Hey. Oh, okay.
You need more digibugs and more cigars and more whiskey? Go get more.
Okay. So Uncle Cliff had posted this thing. I think I sent it to you on. Did I send you the Large Hadron Collider thing? So they're going to be
Hadron Collider.
gearing up CERN on the 8th.
Yeah.
Well, LHC is Large Hydron. Is it called
It's the
Hydron?
Large Hadron or Hadron Collider.
Hadron Collider.
Yeah, and look at that word. I don't know. I haven't researched it. I'm sure it ties back to something. They got the big
So
cheater
it's all
statue in
Alice
front of
in
it.
Wonderland and rabbits.
The Destructor.
This,
Yeah, Alice in Wonderland, down the rabbit hole, right?
yes. Hold on. I'm going to show you guys this because I had just talked to Uncle Cliff about this, and I had asked him about it, and I was like, "Oh, is that Lake Havasu City?" He's like, "No, Lisa, Large Hadron Collider." And I was
We
like,
talked about Gunnison last night. Did you catch that?
"I caught it."
I figured you would.
I got some questions for your friend.
I got some questions here.
I got some questions for a friend of yours, which he cannot admit or
Yeah.
deny. But anyway, so look at this CERN. This is CERN's web page. Alice, a large
Discern.
ion collider experiment. A detector dedicated to heavy ion physics at Large Hadron Collider, LHC. So to me, LHC has always been Lake Havasu City.
Oh, okay.
My whole life. Like when we were little, I always thought it was strange that we wrote LHC, AZ 86403. I can't believe I can remember the zip code. But that's Lake Havasu City, which is where the London Bridge is.
Yes.
And you guys can go down your own rabbit hole in the London Bridge and the taxes and the Queen and all that stuff. But then this CERN says CERN White Rabbit Project. And when Bix was here one time, he's like, "Wow, you really like rabbits, huh?" And I was like, "Yeah, I've always I don't know what it is. I've always collected rabbits. Like, I don't know. I have all kinds of white rabbits all over my house." So then it says a White Rabbit Project is a multi-laboratory, multi-company, and multinational collaboration to develop new technology that provides a versatile solution for, oh, it's just a picture. But he's like, this guy biffed on definitely not normal. Did I just get cut off or are you listening to
Oh, I'm
me?
here. I'm here.
Okay. I can't see you when I'm looking at the other page. So follow the white rabbit. Then somebody says, data mine us to control us. And then biffed on goes, whatever data we give, they have. So this is where we take back our data. This is Web 3, right? We stop letting them sell us on the open market. We take back possession of our data.
I would hope so.
I think it is.
Yeah, I would hope so. I mean, they only have power if you give it over to them, is really what it comes down to. And so you have to look at, that's a nuanced thing. I mean, you get pulled over on the road and, you say, hey, I'm a sovereign citizen. I got my own license plate and I got my own private insurance. And, that works sometimes and sometimes it doesn't. You may have to go to court and prove it, and go through all the hoops. But ultimately it comes down to, do they really have power over you? They don't, because it's all through deception. And it's just, sometimes you just got to say no. And when you say no, some of the stuff goes away. But when you volunteer into it and you volunteer information, and you volunteer into a system and participate into that system, then, it's like, oh, okay, well, you're in it. You said you wanted to play the game, so we're going to play the game. So you just got to figure out how to not play the game. And that's why I always say exit the vampire casino, because that's what it is. They want you to come in and play the game. They want you to use their tools and everything. They want you to eat their food. Oh, look at the beautiful buffet. Look at all the stuff we have. Oh, look at all these chips that we have. Oh, look at the beautiful ladies that come by and bring you drinks. And oh, look at all the, we'll comp your room. We'll do all this. When you choose to play in that system, symbolically, metaphorically, we just have to get into a mindset, and not that it's going to change overnight, but you have to get into a mindset to where it's like, no, if I do this today, is that benefiting me or is that benefiting them? And so you start thinking that way with every decision that you make, with every bit of energy that you use. Am I benefiting, who am I benefiting? And then just, if we all start doing that, it starts to unwind itself. And, I guess that's the best thing I can say to it. I know that's kind of cryptic, but
No, I'm with you. And here's something else that's cryptic. So I went down this rabbit hole asking about or looking at CERN launches the White Rabbit collaboration. Notice this clock. You guys are familiar with a clock being like that?
Mhm.
White Rabbit is an open source timing technology developed at CERN with applications far beyond particle physics, including use in the finance sector and more. White Rabbit collaboration aims to provide dedicated support and training and facilitate R&D projects. Notice this giant eclipse behind it.
That's what it looks like, doesn't it?
It sure the hell does. In this picture. This was tweeted out by CERN themselves, announcing the White Rabbit collaboration in the finance sector.
I mean, you can't make this stuff up. I mean, they're obviously working on a different language model. They're working on symbols. They're working on metaphors. That's very obvious. And then you got to think, okay, what do they really mean? What's the meaning of this? Because they're putting it out in front of you. I mean, whether or not you believe in it or not, they believe in it, and they're kind of putting it out there. So they're into some sort of esoteric knowledge, esoteric existence, some sort of hidden messaging. I mean, they are. I mean, it's very clear that they're doing that. So, just be aware of that, I guess.
It's really interesting. Like, this is where, so I get on these kicks where, like, okay, I'm kind of like not on it or whatever. I feel beat down, or like the children's stuff is really hard. I think it's hard on all of us to watch and stuff.
Yeah.
But then I get on these things, and then like I probably won't sleep tonight. I will probably be down a rabbit hole. I'm not going to
be on Spaces,
sleep.
Talking about all this stuff. Yeah.
On purpose.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, it's really exciting. It's an exciting time. It's scary, but if you have your boundaries and if you're taking personal responsibility for yourself, your wealth, your financial freedom, your personal safety, then you can be in a safe place and talk to anyone, be amongst those that are not, if you're holding your boundaries. If you're saying, I will not be abused.
And know yourself is really what it comes down to. Yeah, know yourself, know where you're rooted, where you're grounded, what grounds you, what you're all about. And once you know that, you see a lot of people lashing out, like you saw. You see a lot of because they're lost. I mean, they're wandering boats because they have no rudder. I mean, they're just like, I don't even, they're splashing around. I don't know what to do, and I'm angry, and I want to just swing and splash water and throw something at you, and it's like, hey. But we're way ahead of this stuff. We've kind of seen this stuff coming, and have a little bit of mercy, some grace for those people, but don't let them abuse you. I mean, because if you're gonna go, you got to go away. I'm not going to engage anymore. I'm done, because that's not going to be my reality. I'm not going to participate in that. And people, if they want to wake up, they'll wake up. They have the opportunity to wake up, and I think that's kind of where we're at. And my thinking has always been, I'm going to say what I'm going to say. I'm going to kind of resonate my frequency, and other people will understand that, and they'll wake up on their own. And all I can do is kind of, like you said, try to not spearhead that, but inspire that. That's what I always say.
I don't want to tell them what to believe.
No, because they have to come to it on their own.
Yeah,
you've got to learn it on your own. You have to know it on your own. And you think of, I'll use the example of getting into cryptocurrency and Bitcoin specifically. A lot of people have heard about Bitcoin. I've heard a lot of stories about people. I go to these coin shows over the weekend, just talking to people. It's like, yeah, I heard about it at this point. I'm like, wow, geez, you knew about it then. It's like, yeah, but I didn't do anything with it. And then they realized later, yeah, I'm going to do something with it. Silver, the same thing. They had a guy who was a farmer and had his 10-year-old son with him. And within the last year, he used to be paying his son in cash for chores, and the kid, he's just like, he gave him silver, for chores. And now he's just like, the kids just feed me information on silver, and just talking about it, he's just into it, and he just wants to collect and he wants to get it because he gets it. I'm going to hold this. I want to hold this. And there's a 10-year-old kid, and I just look at him. He's like so inspired, and it's just like, so I talk to him, and, I'm just laughing. Oh yeah, the teacher comes out to me. Willing participant, finally. Yes. And because he's excited, and it's, people are going to get it. I mean, not everybody's going to get it, and when you find those people, you definitely just build that network of those people, and educate, and they have all kinds of questions, and that feeds your soul. It gives you hope, it gives you inspiration, it gives me inspiration that there are people out there. And so like, there are people that are stuck in their ways because that system has benefited them, and they're lashing out now because they're like, wait a minute, everything that I believed in is really not benefiting me anymore. I feel my world's falling apart, and I'm angry. I'm lashing out, and they don't do it to you. It's just that they're so messed up and confused, and but there are people out there who are just in a state of calm and realize and understand, and those are the kind of people, feed that energy, grow that, because that 10-year-old is going to become very powerful and a very big influence on the world, and I want to give my energy to that. And so find those people, and when you do, don't let them go, and feed them the knowledge.
Yeah, and that's where Mom taught me this term, cognitive dissonance.
Mm-hmm. That's a big one.
And
a lot of that.
People are going to have. That will be the shift, is when that gets broken. It's the discomfort a person feels when their behavior does not align with their values or beliefs.
Right.
Cognitive dissonance is a psychological phenomenon that occurs when a person holds two contradictory beliefs at the same time. So it's like they're standing between, they're like, wait, I believed this and I believe that. Where do I? They're having to trust themselves, like Westwood always says, instead of laying in a camp of a belief system of a third party.
Right. And that's it. You got to look at yourself, and you throw all of it away. It's like a trial by fire almost, where you burn off all the just everything, just burn it away, and just have faith in yourself and walk through that fire and just not care what anybody else thinks. And you shouldn't be walking through that fire. You're going to get burned. It's like, I don't care. I'm going to wash all this away and go forward. And that's what you do. But yeah, there's so many people who do have cognitive dissonance, and you see it, and they have, it's just,
opportunity to take action and change your belief, but some people might.
Right, but they can't. They hold to that belief, and then they accuse you of being wrong because I'm right, because I have to be right, because I've invested 40 years, 50 years, 60 years in this system, and I can't be wrong now. So I have to stick to this because that's the only right I know. And it's like, no, man, the search for truth is a search for truth. And you wake up, and you have to wake up, and you have to accept it no matter where it leads you. I mean, that's what truth is. And you change your mindset. It's like I said, you can tell me something, and I'll be like, all right.
I think about, I used to think that Michael Jackson really harmed children until Public, TPA, you guys all know Public, we love him, really pushed on me. And he was like, Lisa, that was the elite's weapon of getting people to, he was a good guy it's think mirror. Like, he was actually helping children, and he's actually a good guy, not a bad guy. And then I really started unpacking it and looking at it, and we look at who was in power at that time. You have to look at all the things, and you have to decide for yourself, like you said. And I really appreciate those friends of mine that will give me information or share with me. Like, even this guy that we were disagreeing, he shared what he thought was information. It happened to be a fictional novel that had nothing to do with Trump, but he felt like it really resonated with him, and that was, the smoking gun of why Trump is a racist and that I am too. And so it was just,
yes, you're walking around doing this.
Because I know who I know who I
today?
am, I can be like loving and calm and say, like, okay, let's walk through this. We don't need a name call, but let's unpack this. And can you just understand that the Oklahoma City bombing had more to do with hiding Hillary's file?
Channel futures.
Yeah.
And all the other
all
things.
the other things that they did with that, and wasn't a racist,
It's like Building
extremist
7.
group that did that.
Yeah, it's-
So,
well, that's how they divide and conquer. It's through racism. You know, on the
and
one
there's
hand,
a
they
black
say, "Oh,
police
diversity
officers.
is good." You know, we need, but then they're the biggest racists in the world that promote
There's a
that
black
stuff.
police officer who was suicided that tried to tell everyone that the building fell in, not out, and he died in a field under very suspicious circumstances that anyone can look up. So it's not about race. It's about the truth, and it's about freeing people from a satanic debt slavery system.
Yeah, it really is.
You
We
have
know
to
it's not
choose it
healthy.
yourself.
We know it's not healthy. We know that, and we know that both sides are manipulating the system, and and that's it. It's just you figure a way to opt out of it. And again, you start at the money. Start at the money because that's the base layer of energy. And if you put your energy into something that they can basically control and manipulate and devalue, then that's not a good system. So you got to figure out how to get out of that first. And once you do that, I mean, that leads to all kinds of other things. Getting into crypto teaches a lot of people about the monetary system and how you're being robbed. Getting into those forms of getting into silver, getting into gold, that will teach you, the lessons of how they manipulate you, because that's how they do it. I mean, it really is. Well, paycheck to paycheck, the cost keeps going up. Well, now I need a handout. Now I need to, I need a little boost up. And who are you looking for to do that? You're looking to the same bad guys that have put you in that situation for sanctuary or safety.
Here's the thing. Here's somebody we love and respect, but he's got a mainstream media narrative that he's heard somewhere and believes. But I saw the video and that never happened. It says Michael Jackson hangs kid off balcony by the ankle. That's not a true statement. He was holding his child up against his body and had a blanket over him and went like this to show his child. And yes, the child was over the balcony rail because that was dangerous and whatever, but he was just excited and whatever. It wasn't hanging his kid over the balcony by the ankle. These are the lies that mainstream media takes and extremes, and then people say it enough times and they believe it to be true. It's not.
Well, if somebody followed me around all the time and got a clip of me doing something, I'm sure it could be taken out of context. I'm just saying, it's very easy to do. You got to look at the whole picture, but that's not what happens. It's a world of sound bites. It's a world of, there are a lot more dastardly people doing worse things to you than, I don't even want to make the comparison, but there's a lot of people out there doing bad things to you. And you got to find those people and what they're doing to you and how they're doing it.
Water, yeah.
And not participate. Find ways around it. Go get your water filters. I got somebody that says, I'm not going to buy water filters for my family until Litecoin goes to a certain price. And I'm like, well, why wouldn't you do it at any price? I don't care if it's a $50 Litecoin. If you got Litecoin that can buy water filters that take all the fluoride out of the water, so that your family can be healthy, why wouldn't you do that? I mean, at this price, I'm going to make a change. And it's like, no, make the change now. I mean, it's like that important. You know what I mean? It's like, why would you wait?
I think that's a Michael Jackson song too.
So
make that change. Oh man.
Oh, that's true. I didn't even think about that. Yeah.
It's crazy.
Change. Man in the mirror. You gotta look at the man in the mirror and make a change. That's what you gotta do. Make the change now. Otherwise, you're looking at that person in the mirror and you're not going to be happy with that person.
Yeah. It's crazy. So we had to switch weekends with my son because his family does a big thing up at the farm. So if you want to do a Spaces.
Lisa's game. So you're saying there's a chance you're going to show up?
I'm saying there's a chance. I'm posting things on eBay.
Wait, I'm like that dog. Lisa's showing up to Spaces?
I may be posting things on eBay and Etsy, but I don't think anybody really cares if I show up on Spaces. But
we love you in Spaces. It gives, it's like the only female energy that we have in there. So it's like, we were all talking about basketball stuff, it's like,
Oh,
oh, why am I talking about Roll Tide, even though, they're still in it, one of the two SEC teams in it. But anyway, is what it is.
that's funny.
We'll talk about anything anybody wants to talk about. So what's the title of Spaces tonight?
Oh man. Well, you got to talk about the CFTC making Litecoin, making the statement that Litecoin is a.
We said it before. I mean,
Eclipsed.
How many times? Maybe they forgot, Westwood.
Litecoin eclipsing Litecoin.
Everybody forgot.
They did forget, and that's the thing. It's like, duh, it's a commodity. Hello, McFly. Hello.
Yeah.
They've said it over and over again, but the time is right now. I mean, it really is to where there are big players. There are many players looking for. Look at the LTCN, the ticker for Grayscale Trust. That's like the Litecoin ETF ish, fund that you can get into. I mean, I think for one share or whatever it is of that, it represents not even a tenth of a Litecoin, and it's pricing Litecoin at like $400, and so you're paying for a tenth of a Litecoin, and it's you're paying like a $400 Litecoin to put your money into that, and you got to think, okay, somebody's willing to put that kind of money into it because to have access to it, because they don't want to take possession of it. They just want to get access to, exposure to it. But it's like $400 LTCN for one Litecoin.
Wow.
And Litecoin's $110 right now. Keeps going up.
Paper Litecoin, your fake Litecoin is
paper
more
Litecoin
expensive than the real Litecoin that you can hold in your possession, and people are still buying that instead of
because it's easy, and that's why it's easy for Bitcoin now. They brag about it. Oh, I don't have to worry about these seed phrases. Oh, it's just such a burden. I got to worry about making sure nobody steals my seed phrase in my private wallet. I got to have I don't have to jump through all these hoops. I can just buy the ETF. Cool. And they're happy about that because they like the system the way it is. They do. And guess what? You can benefit from that. And I hate even saying that. You can benefit from that. Because it's undervalued and it's being telegraphed that it's worth a lot more than what the stated price is. And so if you're holding it, you've got all the tools, man. You got the kingdom. You got the golden goose. And it's up to you. At some point, they're going to be knocking on your door. Hey, can I get that Litecoin? Or they're going to try and scare you out of it. Please sell it. We're going to take it to $400. Like, oh, yes, finally, I'm whole. I bought it for $400 in 2021. I bought it for almost $400 in 2017. I've been holding it.
I have a theory on that.
Here, take my Litecoin. Then it goes to 1,000.
I think that's why they have the phrase Charlie Lee sold at the top to mindfuck people when it goes to 400 again, that they should all sell out.
Yes, sell out like Charlie.
And sell out. That is really what I think.
Well, I hope you do the same thing Charlie did and continue to put money into the development of Litecoin so that you've got privacy, on mobile wallets called Mimblewimble. I mean, please take that money and do something good with it.
Because we are the value. We are the energy. So anything that is a third party can be manipulated, and especially now that they have the paper one. My God, who is doing that?
I don't know, but it is what it is. And like I said, you've been warned. You've had opportunities. You still have a great opportunity. Litecoin, there's only 84 million that could ever exist, and there's 8 billion people in the world. That distributed equally is only 0.01 Litecoin for every person in the world. 0.01 if we're all equal. Guess what? I don't want to be equal. I'm going to get one Litecoin and be 100 times ahead. I'm going to get 10 Litecoin. I'll be 1,000 times ahead.
And you have to help 100 people or 1,000 people.
And that's fine. I'll do that. I have no problem with doing that because I trust myself more than I trust the vampires in D.C. Because I'm going to do something good with it. I'm going to go to Oklahoma City. I'm going to get there if I even have to fly. And, I'm going to participate in the auction, maybe buy a few things, And if I got a sidekick, they might be putting the sign up like, what are you doing?
That's true. I'm
buy it. Buy. I want this. I want that. Well, all right. Buying a comic book from Bix.
Yeah. Well, it's back in. So it was donated back in, the coin and the comic book.
Lord.
The hat has been, I think I've worn it a couple times. I'm not
sure. Well, even better. Worn by the lovely Litecoin Lisa at multiple flea markets.
There's a hat and a t-shirt that came with it originally, but I think I have absconded with those things. Oh, Charlie says he'll cook you dinner if you show up, Westwood.
See, there you go. I mean, and how can I turn that down? You might have to pick me up at the airport if I fly.
I would be happy to.
You might have to take me back too when I fly out.
It'd be my
Yeah,
honor.
I'm bargaining now.
You
No
fly.
You know,
problem. I will be the Westwood Express.
Oh, the Westwood Express. That's a movie. That is a movie in the making. So come hang out with the lovely Litecoin Lisa, and when there's a big line, everybody wants to see Lisa. Westwood's over here, and I'll talk to you. I'm here. If you need.
It's a really small event space. It's super intimate. It's gonna be like really fun, and
I'll bring some pictures of the lovely Litecoin Lisa and Clint Westwood on the scooter, and we'll both sign it. This is very collectible. Very collectible.
This was last year's event, and we were able to raise almost $9,000 to help Mame and her family when she was going through treatment, and it was just a real blessing to them. And I appreciate everybody who came: Mark Weems, Jim, Westwood, Mitchie, Tom, of course, Bix and Amy. Of course,
I mean, you can't beat the energy of being around these people. I mean, that's a lifetime experience just of itself. Having like-minded people, having the same frequency, and knowing that you're not alone, knowing that you're not nuts, and knowing that, okay, yes, we get it.
Yeah.
Very validating. I mean, it really is. It's it's why I show up.
And of course, a big thank you to my hunky hubby who supports me in all of this to honor our daughter. And it's really great having this kind of community that we have, and loving on each other and doing things to help each other, when we're going through. Want to celebrate life events together. Like, I think that's what we have to look forward to, is more and more opportunities to celebrate life together. We're celebrating Mia's life. We're not acknowledging her death. We're celebrating her life. And I want to share more and more life experiences with people and celebrate those with them, So.
And apparently there's some gin waiting for me. So I guess I'm sold. Guess I'm coming.
Is Nana bringing you gin?
Well, no, Charlie said he's got some gin. So yeah, there we go.
Well, hopefully Nana's coming again too.
Oh, I would love that.
And she would bring gin, because she doesn't have gin will travel.
Have gin.
Nana, that girl in the center there, right by
that young lady, that beautiful young gal.
Yeah. So, all right.
It's always a good time. Get there if you can. I mean, absolutely get there if you can. Come hang out and just be a part of it. I mean, it's worth it. It's worth being around good people. I mean, it really is. And so that's why I'm in this game. That's why I'm here. Meet the good people. How many people do you hang around from high school with, that you went to school with? I mean, how many of those friends do you have still? Very few. I mean, it really, because we've all changed, and we've evolved and become different people. I mean, and then this is like being with your buddies from high school. I mean, it really is. It's just like hanging out together and just like, yeah, we all just love each other, and we just, I don't know. It's just rejuvenating. So, it's very great experience. So.
You guys see Mark Weems there in the green shirt? He was there too. He came all the way from another country. If he can come from another country, well, Puerto Rico's technically part of the US, but anyway,
territory, country, whatever.
Territory.
Yeah, IRS haven. I don't know.
Yeah, and Tom says he's behind Bix, so you guys can see.
Is Tom coming?
Hopefully he.
Tom needs to drive up.
I know he tries to when he can.
Yeah, get up there.
Hopefully he can come. Hopefully Bix and Amy are able to make it. I'd love for Polly P to be there. He's been here a couple times.
Yep.
Just
Mitch, get there somehow. Mitch needs to get there.
Jim is standing behind me and Amber, if you guys are wondering who Jim is. But I think everybody knows everybody else. Bitcoin Ben and Pebbleton Crew. And my husband's hiding behind Mitch. You can't really see him. But anyway. All right, Tom's going to try, he says. That's all we can
Leave
ask.
him home.
That's all we can ask. All right, guys. Had a lot of stuff about, I guess it was Ross Ulbricht's birthday this week.
Yeah, something like that.
Happy birthday to Ross. So everybody, I've been closing the show with his quote. So remember to value liberty. See you guys on Twitter Spaces tonight.
Spaces. Check out
Liberty is not a pill that makes men angels. What it does do is limit the extent to which evil can be expressed in the world.